Oh, really? No.
Do it.
No.
Let's do it. Ridiculous.
I'm wondering where we're going with this.
How do other musicians even talk to you? Why are we in black?
What kind of show is this?
You're totally inspiring.
I got hotel keys in every pocket. This was a Beachcombers episode. You ripped this off.
You are watching Stripped Down. You are watching Stripped Down, Saskatchewan's only one-hour local music showcase, the award-winning show that brings the venue to you in the comfort of your own living room. I am your host, Curtis Anderson. Very, very excited for tonight's episode. It's been 3 years in the making. Last time this gentleman was on Stripped Down, it was episode 3, March 2008. After a 3-year absence, returning to the show with his full band, ladies and gentlemen, Ash Jones.
Used to be jaded, now I can't contain this supersonic energy pulsing through my veins. Electrify the universe, radiate and immerse myself within the atmosphere, breathing in every. This gets so heavy that I can't breathe, and I never want you to leave. Crush me, hold me over, crush me like only you can. Crush me and tell me not to be afraid. Crush me, and piece me back together again. This would be so dangerous, but I call on the risk. I will take it on the chin if you're willing to swing. And I become a masochist for all the things that you get. Pleasure, beauty, blowing me away. This gets so heavy that I can't breathe. And I never want you to leave. So crush me, roll me over again. Crush me like only you can. Crush me and tell me not to be afraid. Crush me, piece it back together again. Crush me, crush me, crush me. This gets so heavy that I can't breathe. Well, I never want you to leave. So crush me, hold me over again. Crush me like only you can. Crush me, then tell me not to be afraid. Crush me, crush me, crush me, crush me.
You're watching Stripped Down. We're spending 60 minutes with Ash Jones and his band. Ash Jones is again returning to Stripped Down after a 104 episode absence. You were the 3rd episode, sir. Thank you again for coming on.
Thanks for having
us. It was
us.
such a different atmosphere in 2008, March 2008. Like, we had just began. Nobody knew what they were doing. And you came and you put up with us, and I remember you sat on the couch and waited for us to properly mix one channel of vocal and one guitar for longer than it took, I think, for us to properly mix your entire band tonight. Thank you for returning.
Thanks for having me back.
3 years. We got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, you guys have been busy.
We have been busy. We've been to Crystal Lake, Saskatchewan. We've been to outer space. I have the logo tattooed on my leg now. We've done a show from the Western Development Museum. We've been busy.
Right on,
But
man.
I want to know what Ash Jones has been doing in the last 3 years.
Trying to finish an album.
Trying to finish an album.
Yeah, I think last time I was on this show, I told you I'd have an album out within the year, and that was 3 years ago.
The album dropped recently, though?
November 20.
November, yeah. Nice.
So yeah, it's just been a lot of mixing, remixing, let it sit, remix, you know, wait.
This is kind of an inside joke, but I'd like to point out that Chinese Democracy beat your album. Yeah. Ash and I are both giant Guns N' Roses / Axl Rose fans, but we'll touch on that a little bit later. We're not done talking about GNR yet tonight. I want to continue talking about Ash Jones. Is there a band name, or are you just under Ash Jones still?
Just under me.
You want to do some band introductions? Do them slow so our camera guys can keep up.
Sure,
Who have you brought tonight?
On my right is Mr. Angelo Frassetto, rhythm guitar player and lead guitar player extraordinaire.
Okay.
Angelo helped produce the album with me as well. On the drums back here, we got Kyle Kildaw, Thumper, I like to call him. Over here we got Steve Bunka on bass. Steve also helped produce the album. Actually, we all sort of took a role in producing that, maybe why it took so long.
Fair enough. But I understand it's epic.
It's epic.
It's epic. I've captured the spirit of the album with 4 letters. Epic.
Epic.
Nice. Dropped in November. Feedback so far?
So far, I haven't heard anything bad. I've heard lots of good. So, I mean, it's you know, friends and family. Everybody's been really supportive. So I think it's good. I think we all think we're all really proud of it. It's the album we wanted to make, and it took a while. But at the end of the day, if you're proud of it, doesn't matter how long it took.
Awesome. And we're missing a couple members, though. You're usually a 6-piece.
Well, we're the core of the group. For the CD release, we brought out some string players because there's some strings on one of the tunes, and we brought out a keyboard player and another guitar player. So there's lots of when you own the studio, you get to spend lots of time layering and layering and layering. Mm-hmm. And so for the big show, we wanted to try and capture as much as we could, like the album. But we can do it this way too, and it's just fine.
Last season, the 3rd season of Stripped Down, we went on a marathon. We went on a mission. We did 43 episodes between September and July 1st.
Wow.
We took 2 weeks off over Christmas. Other than that, we had a new episode every week here on Shaw TV, which of course again plays out on Access Communication all over Saskatchewan. And my goal was to have all of the original 16 episodes from episode 1, all the original 16 guests back. And you and Teresa Securker are the only people I couldn't line up. We had a show lined up, and then I think it fell through. But just look around. I mean, do you even remember what the show used to look like?
I do remember. It was kind of a ragtag crew going on in here. But it's looking good now. The background kind of reminds me of like a WWF cage match or something, which is kind of cool. So.
As it should. I was very happy with my introduction I gave this morning. See, I remember episode 3. I was like squinting and sweating into the teleprompter. You are watching Stripped Down. And, you know, we didn't quite have all the camera moves and the signature style of Stripped Down, so I really wanted to get all the original 16 on as like a thank you, as like here's a really good looking episode now, you know, 3 years later. So I'm really happy you guys are back tonight, so we can give you our thanks for putting up with us and being one of the original 16.
Do you remember when I dropped the pick under the couch and
we couldn't find it? Oh,
us on live TV picking up the couch trying to find the pick? That was fun.
It was. Yeah, we don't use the couches too much anymore. We try to have more full-on bands because it was a natural evolution of the show. And we have a fantastic sound guy that's really good at mixing bands, who we'll talk to later. Because just as the show itself, Stripped Down, is award-winning, so too is our audio engineer, Mr. Bennett Dobney. We'll talk to Ben later. We should get to another song. See, you just took a drink. That means you're ready.
I'm ready.
You're getting ready vocally. First things first, though, what did you kick off the show with?
That was a song called Crush Me, and it's probably the heaviest tune on the album.
I was going to say, I didn't recognize it from last time.
No,
that probably doesn't translate that well solo.
Yeah, it doesn't
into
translate
acoustic.
too good onto the acoustic guitar. But
what's that about?
Crush Me. It's about emotional things that are really heavy, whether good or bad. Just when you're kind of floored by something and you have to take a breath back and reevaluate what's going on.
All right, so we're gearing up for song number 2. Where are we going next?
This is a song called "Spend the Day," and it's a really happy-go-lucky song, kind of like a walk in the park on a happy day. And I always, in my mind, the mood of the song is like the universe and the world is conspiring to make your life better on this particular day. So
It's rare when they conspire to make it better. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's a neat angle for a song. Usually it's the other way around. All right, take it away, Ash Jones.
Lie awake and contemplate the night. Moments with you swirling through my mind. Never wanna let you go. I just want you to know I have never felt this way before. Hand in hand we open up the door to the life we've only dreamed. Look in my eyes and just believe that you're the only one for me. And I spend it with you. But nothing else I'd rather do. Just spend the day with you. But nothing else I'd rather do. Don't need the words when we intergaze. Through the silence I can feel you breathe. Desire into my eyes. Making love without minds. Surrender's never been so beautiful. In your arms I become myself. Never wanna let you go. I just want you to know that you're the only one for me. And I spend the day with you. There's nothing else I'd rather do. Spend the day with you. There's nothing else I'd rather do. And you know it's true. You were meant for me. And I was meant for you. Always know just what to do when I am feeling blue. Spend the day with you. There's nothing else I'd rather do. Just spend the day with you. Spend the day with you. There's nothing else I'd rather do. Spend the day with you. There's nothing else I'd rather do. And you know it's true. You were meant for me. You were meant for me. And I was meant for you.
You're watching Stripped Down with Ash Jones. Another reason I was excited for tonight was I remember you always had really good stories about what your songs were about. And that was, I don't want to say so much more of the show back then, but we were a lot more interview heavy when we first started out.
I remember that about the first
we
time.
had
We told-
like good 5, 6, 7 minutes of dialogue, which we don't really do anymore. We try to incorporate more music and less talking. That seems to be what the fans like, but talking is definitely
See, that's funny.
part
'cause-
of the show.
That's funny. When I go to see a show, I'm often really disappointed when there's no banter with the audience and
No.
the band just like rips through the set list and there's no interaction. It doesn't make it feel special, you know.
It's true. That's why we make sure we do it, just not for quite as
Yeah,
long.
sure.
I've had a lot of bands that have asked, can't we just play straight through and not talk? It's, no, not at all. So after that incredible build-up, Ash Jones, what was that last song about?
Spend the Day.
Yes.
That, like I said, it's a song about sort of celebrating when things go right and
Okay.
things in life go right, and it's a beautiful day, and you're just kind of it's a happy-go-lucky kind of pop song. So
Was there anything that inspired that? Were you having a particularly good day, or were you having a particularly bad day and wanted to write about better times? Even remember?
I don't think I remember. I think it was a good day. I think it was celebrating maybe meeting somebody new or something. I don't know.
Fair enough. All right, we have to gear up for our very first commercial break, but stick around. We got lots more with Ash Jones coming up on Stripped Down right after this.
Lucy, Lucy, Lucy Brown.
The following sponsors are proud to support local community programming on Shaw. Mother's Music. (617 8th Street East, Saskatoon), on the web at mothersmusic.com. Ultimo Euromoto. (204 3rd Avenue South in downtown Saskatoon), 664-6640.
Do you know where stuff goes once it's flushed down the toilet? It travels down pipes under our streets to a sewage treatment plant. There it is cleaned up through a variety of processes before it is sent back out in our lakes or rivers. The problem occurs when people flush things down the toilet like makeup, cleaning supplies, and some pharmaceuticals that the sewage treatment plant can't clean up. They are dumped untreated into our waterways, which other people depend on for their drinking water. Some cities continue to dump their sewage untreated into our waterways, while others are using innovative thinking to reuse sewage byproducts as fertilizer. What can you do? Be sure to properly dispose of any chemicals or unused medicine at your city's hazardous waste disposal site. It's our turn to take care of this planet, and I think we can do a better job. What do you think?
And we're back. You're watching Strip Down. Really excited about tonight's episode, as I mentioned about 100 times during the first segment. Ash Jones returning to the Strip Down stage after a 3-year absence. I was doing the math. I don't know if we'll ever actually be able to say that again. Like, a lot of the acts on Strip Down now, like, are asked to be part of it regularly or semi-regularly. Like, I don't want to have the same people on each season, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever go another 100 episodes without having that person.
Well,
you know, either they're never coming back or they'll be back within 30 to 40 kind of thing. So
I'm glad to be your first.
yeah, heck yeah. You were my third the first time around, so now you're the first. What is going on? Okay. Busy guy. I remember that. Last time we talked, you had a whole bunch of different jobs and on the go and stuff. And are you still doing the open mic night?
Still doing.
Probably where most of the people would know you from,
Yeah.
other than rushing the stage at your shows, right?
Yeah,
They know you
exactly.
from the Lydia's open mic night. You've been doing that for quite a long time.
Yep, still been doing it. Been doing it since '94 with the break when I went to London.
Holy, 94.
Yeah.
Wow, you're
Long
probably
time.
mocking me in my 100 episodes. Like, how many open mic nights do you think you would have done?
Oh my.
Can you even calculate that?
Pretty
One a
much
week since 94?
once a week since 2004, with the odd exception. Sometimes I get someone to fill in if I go on holidays or something. But
The music community in Saskatoon should pick your brain, because you must have seen everything. You must have seen just
the good, the bad,
the
the ugly.
good, the bad,
Curtis.
the ugly, the things. Oh man, that's crazy. What's the biggest? Why do you still do it? I mean, it must still be exciting for you.
Well, they pay me.
Well, okay.
And
Kind of looking for a little more soul-inspiring answer than that, but
no, it's I do it because it's interesting to see people grow from, you see people, they come their first time and they're kind of sloppy and they're scared and they're nervous,
Yeah.
and I think I remember what it's like to play open mics, and you show up and there's some guy up there playing a guitar solo for an hour and you don't really know what's going on, and so I always try to run our open mic. I'm there when people come, they see me right away. I make them feel comfortable, let them know when they're going to be on right away, and just try and make it so that it's a positive experience. And you see people grow from just when they're little. Like Megan Lane used to play when she was like 14 or something, and look at her now and stuff like that.
I could learn a lot from you. When the musical acts come in on Strip Down, I'm usually in the back of the room, in the fetal position, rocking. And if they get close to me, I hiss and squat. But yeah, no, that's cool. What's the biggest memory you have before we move on? Biggest life-changing, song-inspiring moment at the
open stage? It was for me. It was when I was leaving and going to London, and they had this big going away party for me, and they made Mark and Steve, that were sexually attracted to fire. They made me this little reward. It was an Oscar for best man of the year or something like that. And there was a lot of people came out, and I guess I didn't realize that I was making a difference or that people cared one way or the other. So it was kind of nice to get that feedback.
That's a good story. Let's jump into another song. After I spent, the last segment talking about how we don't have these big, like 5 to 6 minute dialogue sessions, I think we just did. But what's song number 3? I'm guessing you're playing a lot of stuff from the album.
Yeah, mostly everything. We're going to play one new one a little later, but everything you're hearing is on the album.
All right, so song number 3 is?
This is a song called Weightless, and the story behind it, I was sitting at home one day, I had it in my head that I was going to write a song called Breathless, and I spent like 5 hours trying to write this song, and I finished it, but it wasn't. It was kind of a throwaway. And then I thought to myself, what would Josh Palmer do? And I instantly came up with
WWJD, yeah.
I instantly came up with this guitar riff, and then Weightless wrote itself in about 15 or 20 minutes, and it was like, it's probably one of my best, if not my best one.
Nice. Take it away.
Bold and beautiful, you glide through my room with just one look. I feel myself consumed. It's so close. With a smile, you light up the sky. Eclipse the sun, irradiate the night. It's so close.
You're watching Strip Down, where we're spending 60 minutes with Mr. Ash Jones. It was funny, right before that song you mentioned Josh Palmer, like WWJPD, what would Josh Palmer do? And I was going to comment about how we used to have that segment in the first season called the 3 Degrees of Josh Palmer. There, see, the guys in the studio knew where I was going with that. I'm that predictable. And I was going to mention that, but then I remembered, man, you were on even before we were doing that segment. I don't think we started doing that till the 9th episode. So yeah, we used to have the 3 Degrees of Josh Palmer, where I tried to get the artists to link themselves to Josh in 3 degrees or less, and they always did it. It's awesome. Good job in the studio, you guys, back in the control room there. They knew where I was going with that. Another thing, Jenny Juba, Adan, MerMoose, and Bryn Kreisa, one of the proudest, if not the proudest, accomplishments of the show is that we've kept pretty much the same crew since we started.
Nice.
And so yeah, if we can get Jordan to spin around here. There's good old Jennifer Juba, who was there for episode 3. Right there we are. And then if he spins it over after he focuses there's also Jesse Gordon, who wasn't there till I think episode 4 or 5. So you missed Ash Jones the first time around there, Jesse. But Ash Jones back in the studio tonight, and if we can get a shot later of Dan and Bryn, who are in the control room, it's the same crew. Biggest accomplishment.
That's awesome.
For Stripped Down.
That's good.
And your biggest accomplishment, I'm guessing, is the album.
Getting this album.
Getting that album out. Before we talk more about the album, do you want to give us a little background on these guys you're playing with and how you guys all got together? Were these guys still around in 2008? Back when we weren't allowed to bring the band members on Stripped Down? When it actually was Stripped Down?
Well, the way it all came together was, it started out in 2003. One of the songs we're going to play tonight, Crashing Down, I won, as one of the finalists in the National Songwriting Competition, and they flew me out to Toronto and that whole sort of bit. And you spent some time with a mentor, songwriting mentor, and they basically said, your songs are too long, you need to make them shorter. And and around that same time, my buddy...
You were like, but November Rain!
Yeah, exactly.
November Rain and everything Meatloaf did! Come on!
Around that time, my buddy Darcy Beck, who mixed this album, he was the sound guy for the Touchtone Gurus, which was basically these guys minus their singer.
Really?
And he had given me a copy of their album, and I was blown away by it because they had all these great tunes that were like 2 minutes long, and I was like, and I loved the way they played. And Darcy said, well, maybe you should ask them if they'd be interested in playing on your record, because I was looking for a band at the time to play on the record. And I gave them some demos, and they were into it, and the rest is very long history.
And then you filled it out a little bit more for the last little bit. The 2 members who aren't here tonight.
Oh, that was just for the CD release show.
Okay.
Yeah, this has always been the core band. We've played a few shows over the years and stuff. It's always been a 4-piece, but like I said, when you own the studio and you can add 8 layers of guitar and strings and organs and stuff, you want to try and represent it as best you can live for a big show.
All right, gentlemen, what's it like working with Ash? Good times? Wow.
No, it's been awesome. You know, I mean, when Darcy, I think, brought us a demo of your material, and I think it was Crave Need Take that I heard first.
Okay.
And I think once we heard the songs and we all listened to them, we all wanted to play on the project right away. And I think about that time too, we had stopped touring with the Gurus, and Paul had moved to Edmonton, so timing was perfect.
Yeah, it worked out well. It was, and the guys put a lot into the project. Like I had meager sort of budget, and then and they agreed to, for the love of the music, and mostly they didn't even really take money from me, and there was a lot of time and sacrifice on their part because they're busy with other things. So.
You just haven't got the last bill yet. It's still coming.
Bills in the mail.
Complete with back pay. All right, let's jump into song number 4 before we take our next commercial break.
This is
again from the album.
Yeah, this is the title track from the album. Actually, this is a song called "Better Part of You." And that's also the name of the record. And the reason I picked it because it sort of it encapsulated a lot of the sentiments in the album. The song is basically about synergy between people, whether that be relationships or friendships, and I felt it summed up our album because I brought these songs to the album on an acoustic guitar, and these guys came in, and now it's a completely different beast, and we created something I could have never done on my own, and so to me this song sums up the whole record in my eyes.
I believe you performed this acoustically.
I did,
the
actually.
3rd episode.
I did indeed.
It's like a lock in there. The stuff. All right, take it away, you guys.
Your eyes, they rival the sun. The distance between, I can feel the air, I can feel you breathe. And all I want is you to be yourself. 'Cause I don't wanna die, yeah, I just wanna live. And maybe we could fly far away from here. And I just wanna be everything you need. maybe help you see the better part of you. Through the better part of me. Maybe we could trust perceptions of ourselves, trample in the dust the thoughts of everyone else. Look inside your soul, 'cause all I want is you to be yourself. 'Cause I don't want to die, I just want to live. Maybe we could fly far away from here, and I just want to be everything we need. Maybe help you see the better part of you. The better part of me. There's stardust in your sleeping eyes. You wrap yourself around my life, and I'm still hanging on every word you say. 'Cause I don't want to die, yeah, I just want to live. And maybe we could fly far away from here, and I just want to be everything you need, and maybe help you see the better part of you. The better part of me. The better part of you. The better part of me. Yeah, yeah.
You're watching Strip Down. We have to gear up for our second commercial break, but stick around because when we get back, we're going to take 2 minutes away from talking to Ash Jones and talk to Strip Down's own audio engineer, Mr. Bennett Dobney, about the colossal weekend he recently had. So that's coming up next on Strip Down.
He's big, he's bold, he's a polar bear. And as much as we wouldn't want to run into him face to face, we also wouldn't want to see anything threaten his existence. Hard to believe an animal this big needs our help. But even though the polar bears live far away in the remote Arctic, we are having a negative impact on their lives. Our pollutants travel the oceans and atmosphere and enter their food chain. Plus, climate change is causing the ice they live on to melt earlier each spring. This makes it more difficult for the bears to catch their prey. If you're wondering how you can help, simple things like riding your bike, walking, or taking the bus instead of driving will do a lot for our environment and the polar bears. But that's just a start. If you go to hww.ca, you can learn more about polar bears and find ideas on how to help protect Canada's wildlife. That's hww.ca.
Do you know where stuff goes once it's flushed down the toilet? It travels down pipes under our streets to a sewage treatment plant. There it is cleaned up through a variety of processes before it is sent back out in our lakes or rivers. The problem occurs when people flush things down the toilet like makeup, cleaning supplies, and some pharmaceuticals that the sewage treatment plant can't clean up. They are dumped untreated into our waterways, which other people depend on for their drinking water. Some cities continue to dump their sewage untreated into our waterways, while others are using innovative thinking to reuse sewage byproducts as fertilizer. What can you do? Be sure to properly dispose of any chemicals or unused medicine at your city's hazardous waste disposal site. It's our turn to take care of this planet, and I think we can do a better job. What do you think?
back. We're spending 60 minutes with Ash Jones, but now is the time of the episode we throw it over and talk to our own audio engineer, Mr. Bennett Dobney. Ben, kind of a big weekend in the life of one Ben Dobney. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well today. How are you, Curtis?
I'm doing fantastic. Let's bring this back for the viewers.
All right.
You were involved in a competition called Ice Jam's Battle of the Band at Winter Shines.
Yeah, correct.
Over the last 2 weekends. So 2 weekends ago, they had the first 2 nights where you could advance to the finals, which were Saturday night. You were slated for day number 2. You were supposed to bring your full band, Dreaming of Electric Sheep. However, they couldn't make it. So what does Ben Dobney do?
Yeah, well, everyone gives me a call, tells me to bring my band out because he knows another member, Graham Job, in the band. And I called around. Everybody's busy doing something better or whatever. And one of them was working, our bass player, who is a essential piece to the band that we couldn't do it without him. So I decided I play a lot of electronic music as well. I had my rig all packed up in the car. So I thought I'd go play as Dreaming of Electric Sheep solo, and got all my gear together, got to the show, set up really quickly. It was all the day of. I had heard about it and stuff like that. Get set up, and he enjoyed it a lot, and so we got into the finals. So
long story short, by yourself, you qualified for the finals, which was the next weekend, the Saturday night.
Yeah.
So you go up against the Dreaming of Electric Sheep, the Gutter Dogs, Nonsense from PA, that other band I can't remember, and another band I can't remember.
Seed of Morphus.
Seed of Morphus, yes.
Another successful group at the competition there.
So when it all said and done, Dreaming of Electric Sheep are the winners.
Yeah, we took it home that night, and it was very exciting. We took home 10 grand worth of recording time. And that's going to be really great for us because previously we've been doing it all ourselves, and that's fine and everything. And doing it yourself is often, better in many ways because, like Ash was saying, you can record all night and layer all you want and do whatever you want with no limitations whatsoever. But it is sure relaxing having somebody else behind the board and somebody you can, point and tell what to do and stuff like that, and you're just there to play, and that's going to be really fun. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. I was going to give you a shout out as well as crew member Patrick Brannon, who can't make it tonight, but he's also in Dreaming of Electric Sheep. But man, hands together, Ben Dobney winning the inaugural Winter Shines Ice Jam's Battle of the Band. Let's throw back to Mr. Ash Jones. Sorry about that. We have to give Ben some time.
Got to give the crew props.
When you were 18, were there huge contests in Saskatoon where you could win 10 grand worth of recording time?
Absolutely not.
These kids today, they've just got it so easy, hey? There's MySpace and YouTube and internet now to get your stuff out there. I tell you. Let's get to another song.
Sure.
What's next?
This is I was talking about this earlier, Crashing Down. It's the one that I went to the finals and the songwriting competition a bunch of years back. Sort of the catalyst to everything. And yeah, let's go into it.
Hit the ground, out of love, out of love, out of close the door on all the things we once were, but time it heals the wound, so they say. And I know it's hard to walk away from all those beautiful memories of yesterday. So remember them for what they are, something beautiful to call love. Don't you know it really doesn't matter at all? Crashing down, hit the ground, out of love. Close your eyes and picture someone better than me. Crashing down, hit the ground, out of love. Crashing down, crashing down, crashing down. Out of love with you.
You're watching Strip Down with Ash Jones, and I promised myself I wouldn't devote too much time to it tonight, but I gotta talk about it. Mr. Jones.
I think I know what's coming.
This, a little bit, I wouldn't say controversial to most people, but to us. Let's talk about it. It finally dropped. Last time you were on the show, it hadn't dropped. Here it is. Yeah, I got it on vinyl.
Nice.
Chinese Democracy. I'm a huge Guns N' Roses fan. You're a huge Guns N' Roses fan. You somehow snuck backstage back in 2006 and met the man, Axl Rose, which I will forever be jealous of.
Wasn't backstage. I sort of...
Oh, it was like a party or something.
I hunted him down.
Yes. Well done. You will forever be my my hero for that. Let's talk about Chinese Democracy really quick. It didn't light me on fire. You disagree?
I disagree. I think it's a brilliant album. Absolutely brilliant.
What am I missing?
I don't know. Have you listened to it on headphones?
I don't really know what I was expecting. I will say there's 2 or 3 really darn good tracks on it, but it kind of fell with Lies and Spaghetti Incident, where I always want to listen to it. That's not that harsh. I always want to listen to it, but then a few tracks in I'm like, I'm just going to go put on Appetite.
Well, you know, Axl said about it that there'll be something for everyone. Some people will like one thing and not like another. I think it was a melting pot of different ideas. And so
15 years of different ideas.
Yeah, so I'm not, I mean, in that sense, it is a little bit disjointed. It doesn't necessarily, it's not the best flowing album, but if you isolate the songs, in my mind, I think it's brilliant.
That's okay. People claim I'm not a true fan because I would say Use Illusions 2 is my favorite album they put out.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Over Appetite?
Over Appetite.
Wow.
I know. So there's all sorts of levels here, but really that's cool. I'm glad you found it so inspiring.
Yeah.
What's the best track on there? I would say Catcher in the Rye.
I'm gonna go with Better or There Was a Time.
All right. One last question about Guns N' Roses. Have you heard what's going on next? Like, is there a follow-up to this, or is that just...
There's lots of speculation.
Yeah. We're back to the speculation.
Yeah, the problem is that everything was recorded with an old lineup, and now the lineup that they have now, they're not on the old stuff that they recorded. So Axl's big thing is he's always wanted it to be a band. So I don't... Are they going to re-record the parts? Who knows? I mean, time moves slowly in Axl land.
Did you stick with Axl when the band broke up, or stick with the other camp that went over to Velvet Revolver, or was it just everything?
I'm definitely more of an Axl fan.
Attaboy. So you cringed when Slash was playing with the Black Eyed Peas in the Super Bowl? Thank you. All right.
Sell out.
There we go. You heard it here on Strip Down. Thank you. Play another song. There's nowhere to go from that. Where do you go?
This is a new track. This isn't on the album. This is a song called Sensitive Souls, and I wrote it about a friend of mine. It seemed like we were always going through similar things at the same time, and that we felt things a little deeper than the average person, which makes life a little harder. So it's called Sensitive Souls.
Take it away.
We don't know each other very well, but I can tell we're the same. We shine like oceans, illuminate the depths into your soul. Well, I said, oh, whoa, we both have sensitive souls and two hearts that carry too much weight. I know, you know the feeling of our heartbeats reeling as it gives more than it takes. So where does that leave you when all you want to do is run away? And I said, oh, whoa, we both have sensitive souls. They're too hard to carry too much weight. And is this what it feels like to finally be understood? Well, I said, oh, whoa, you don't have to feel alone. I said, oh, whoa, we both have sensitive souls and two hearts that carry too much weight. And the weight of the world sometimes you carry just like it's your own. And you know, well, I can't relate. Just two sensitive souls trying to find our way. And someday we'll find our place.
You're watching Strip Down. We have to take our last commercial break, but stick around because we wrap things up with Ash Jones coming up right after this.
The following sponsors are proud to support local community programming on Shaw. Mother's Music. .617 8th Street East, Saskatoon, on the web at mothersmusic.com. Ultimo Euromoto. .204 3rd Avenue South in downtown Saskatoon, 664-6640.
The word spreads around and round, so we gon' catapult into your town. Hold on, we about to take the rhythm up and away, and leave the critics stuck with nothing to say. The word spreads around and round, so we gon' catapult into your town. Hold on, we about to take the rhythm up and away, and leave the critics stuck with nothing to say.
Yo, we're flossing out electricity, the rock and rickety balance. How long they bristle like a chicken and salad. You ain't fit to be.
Do you know what happens to water once it's gone down the storm sewer? It's carried by pipes under the street and dumped into our lakes and rivers. The trouble is, excess chemicals from our yard and parks and oil and gas spills from the street also get washed down the storm sewer and end up in our waterways. These bodies of water are home to fish and wildlife and often is where we get our drinking water. Some cities are dealing with the problem by holding the water in ponds first, while natural processes absorb many of the pollutants. We can do our part by not over-fertilizing or over-watering our lawns. We can also keep our cars tuned up so they don't leak oil and clean them in a car wash so we don't send detergent into our waterways.
It's our turn to take care of this planet, and I think we can do a better job. What do you think?
Ladies and gentlemen, Ash Jones.
I'm lying here beside you. I've never felt this close to the truth, and I know you've been waiting for something new, something true, something real, something pure, someone who can see it through and understand my point of view, someone worth holding on to, someone like you. And what is this thing we've stumbled onto? Within your eyes I behold the perfect view, and you know I've been waiting for something new, something true, something real, yeah, something pure, someone who can see me through and understand my point of view, someone worth holding on to, someone like you, someone like you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And my only intention is to renew your affection for all of you. That is you. And I know you've been waiting, and you know I've been waiting for something new, something true, something real, yeah, something pure, someone who can see it through and understand my point of view, someone worth holding on to, someone worth holding on to, someone like you, someone like you, oh yeah, someone like you.
We're down to our final minutes with Ash Jones. He's got some crazy mad tuning to do for this last song he's promised us. But Ash, welcome back. Did you have a good time?
Had a great time. Thank
104 episodes later. Was it a little less awkward this time around?
Yeah, it's safety in numbers, right?
Fair enough.
I remember shaking like a leaf last time. You know, I'd never been on TV before either, so just by yourself, all by your lonesome. But actually, when I go back and watch the video, it turned out pretty good. So thank you for that opportunity then, and thank you for that the opportunity now.
Thanks for coming back on again. It was rough the first 7 or 8 we did until we found our stride. And you, sir, were number 3. You came back in March of 2008 and sat on a couch for 2 hours while we properly balanced a vocal and a guitar microphone. How about the rest of you guys? You have fun tonight?
It's great.
Any Touchstone Gurus big reunion coming up we need to know about?
No.
You're sticking with Ash for a while?
Anything's possible.
All right, for all the Ash Jones information, you still rocking the MySpace?
Still rocking the MySpace. You gotta be on there. I haven't quite got the Twitter thing yet, but
No, are you on Facebook though too?
I am, yeah.
So do the myspace.com/Ash Jones Music, or just look you up on Facebook.
You got it.
Ash Jones. There it is. We are done. Thanks to tonight's cast and crew. Thanks to tonight's sponsors, Mother's Music and Ultimo Yuramoto. Hey, speaking of Facebook, look up Strip Down, hit like. We can use a lot of likes. We need more likes, people. Come on. Like our show on Facebook already. Ladies and gentlemen, for the last time tonight, Ash Jones. Thank you so much, sir.
At some point I lost this conspiracy with fate. I settled the cost with nostalgic vice left unclaimed. And I don't mind if you have to leave. But what I can't understand is why you gotta take a piece of me. 'Cause when you leave, I kill raindrops. When you leave, take off your makeup so I can see pretty face and all those things you crave need. And say, and now we just scenery in each other's wasted days, left unnoticed by the time it takes to walk away. And I don't mind if you have to leave. But what I can't understand is why you gotta take a piece of me. 'Cause when you leave, I kill raindrops. When you leave, take off your makeup so I can see pretty face and all those things you crave. And say, when you leave, and I don't mind if you have to leave. But what I can't understand is why you gotta take a piece of me. 'Cause when you leave, I kill raindrops. When you leave, take off your makeup so I can see pretty face and all those things you crave. And say,
His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance